Hello, lovely souls. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. This is the next video, and this one's going to be a short. I was having a conversation with one of my clients the other day, and we were talking about the origins of words and how words are often misrepresented or even not understood. So this short is going to be about a word. Now it's a word I've picked out at random off camera, and it's the word found. But before we get into the word, let us just call in our spirit helpers and our guides. We'll just spend a few moments welcoming them in. As well as looking at the meaning of the word, we are also going to get some deeper meanings as well. Okay, so the word is found, Found, and it actually comes from the expression to find oneself, to provide for oneself, to lay the basis of, establish, or to lay the bottom or foundation. Now this really takes us into, from a spiritual perspective, into the foundations. If you can get your foundations of your spiritual practice working, everything can be built upon. If you don't have good foundations, then you will have challenges moving forwards with your spiritual practice. So what type of things am I talking about here? So I'm talking about grounding, connection to earth. I'm talking about sitting at your altar, having a sacred space. And the phrase that comes to mind is persistent repetition. Because if we can do this persistently, consistently, and at least twice a day, you will find that your growth will be exponential. You will really take off. And of course, this is what is happening to us spiritually at the moment. Any empaths out there, if you're working on your spiritual foundations, you will find that you will rise in vibration. In fact, anybody on the spiritual path, in fact, anybody who isn't on the spiritual path, because Mother Earth herself is raising her vibration. As Mother Earth raises her vibration, everybody's vibration raises to a degree. Okay, so this takes me to a channeling that I did from my Egyptian guide, and he was talking about having several pillars. Let me just read this short channeling that I got when I was talking about my life and how it felt like I never had enough hours in the day to get everything I needed to done. So There are plenty of hours in the day to get everything you need to do done. Have 3 important pillars: self-care, business, and house. Time should be divided equally between them all. And the other guide who also gave me some insight into this was she's come through to me as Padme, but most people will know her as Kuan Yin. There is a certain beauty in order, time management, and structure. And then my writing guide gave me the following channeling when I was saying how challenging it is. I'm sure most people watching this video will understand the challenge of home life, spiritual work, and business or normal work. And it's the balancing out of these that is important. You are naturally more fluid, sometimes resistant to perfection, sometimes preferring the easy life. It is not always like that. Life gives great reward to workers. It is people who sometimes do not. Okay, so I think it is really, really relevant when we think about the word found and the foundations. And as I say, spiritually, you could probably say there are at least three pillars to work on. And of course, if you are in a good place spiritually, then everything else in your life will work better. So the foundations, I would say, is protection, cleansing, and working at your altar, connecting with your guides. So there's probably 3 strong pillars there. And let's just talk a little bit about each one. So protection, there are so many ways to protect yourself energetically. And if you are an empath like myself, it is so important to protect regularly. And Lady Portia, another of my guides, who I'm working with quite a lot at the moment, she said it's important to keep the protection fresh, keep it fresh, because how can I describe it? It's a bit like if you're working on a garden and you've got all the right equipment, you've got the gloves on, you've got a hat on, sun hat, you're dressed in appropriate clothing for that environment. But then over time, the gloves start to get a bit frayed around the edges, the hat starts to get a bit frayed around the edges, so it starts to allow sunshine in, you start to get sunburnt, it starts to allow the gloves start to allow they're not protecting you as much as they could do, so you're starting to get stung by stingers. So it's really important, as Lady Portia said, to keep it fresh. So you have to redo the protection. really important. And sitting at your altar, or you could put meditation in there as well, because it essentially is a form of meditation. Just sitting quiet can be a form of meditation. Meditation is really about the awareness that you have, and this awareness increases your vibration and allows your guides to give you the messages. So that's why meditation and sitting at your altar, having the sacred space, is really important in the spiritual practice. And protection, as I said, there's so many different ways you can protect. One of the ways that I can do it, that I use, is one of my sprays. Just spraying 3 times around the field. Meditation can be a form of protection. Just asking your guides, or asking Source, or asking God, if you call universal life force as God. That can be a form of protection as well. Archangel Michael is a really good angel to work with, to help to bring in the blue light, and that helps to protect your field as well. And remember that not only environmental things, so as I said, if you might start off with good protection, but then towards the end of the day that protection has waned. You've also got influences from the planets as well when they're coming in, and you've got psychic attack, whether intentionally or unintentional. If somebody just thinks a negative thought about you, if you are incredibly sensitive, that can actually impact on your field as well. So these are all the ways that, you know, we can look at our foundations, having good foundations to build upon. Okay, so we're going to do a quick card reading now, and the cards I've chosen today are Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray, Angels and Ancestors from Kyle Gray. We've got the Work Your Light from Rebecca Campbell, and we've got the Oracle of the Pagan Spirit by Edwin Courtney. So let's see which pack wants to help us on the word found. Okay, we're getting the Angels and Ancestors. These are my favourite cards, but then I have a lot of favourite cards. Okay, so give us a message on the word found. Give us a card on the word found. Give us a card on the word found. Give us a card on the word found. Ah. Okay. So the first card we've got is Sky Father. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. And that says trust in the unknown. Trust in the unknown. So it's basically saying, as we're doing our work and developing spiritually, we have immense help all around us. But we have to trust. We have to trust in the unknown for that help to come through. We have to ask for that help to come through. And the reason we have to ask is because we've all got free will. We've all got free will. So spirit guides can only come into us if we ask for their help. Okay, generally speaking, anyway. And then we've got wise one. Wise one. And that says grow within your current situation. Grow within your current situation. So as you're walking along the spiritual path, just be mindful of where you are. And the other thing I'm getting on with this card is where you've come from. Where you've come from. Because often when we get where we are, we forget where we've come from. What has it taken you personally to get to this space? How have you grown? How have you grown? Okay. And the next one we have is Shapeshifter. Transform and unveil your gifts. Transform and unveil your gifts. So the more work we do on our spiritual path, the more we clear the space for our true gifts to come online, to come on board, to be our true, authentic self. But you can't do that if you haven't got a clear field. It's like a muscle that we have to work to develop our spiritual essence, to come from a place of who we are. It has to be developed. It has to be developed. Okay. So I hope you have enjoyed this little video on the word found. And I think I'm going to leave it there today. But I will be back very shortly. In fact, I'm going to do the video right now. So you will notice probably the same background on the next poem. Okay, so I will put a link in the description for the lovely Coral Grey cards. As I say, these are a real favourite of mine, and I do get very truthful insights through working with them. Okay, so from my heart to your heart, Namaste.